If you are pregnant or you plan on getting pregnant, stay on top of your pregnancy. Let me tell you why. So, for those of you who have been like my friend on any apps, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, right? Y'all know I lost a baby at 33 weeks. That's Lyric, right? I go by Lyric because that's my daughter name that I lost, right? Forgive me too, y'all. I'm tired today. I don't feel like doing nothing. I'm just headscarf, chilling with no makeup on. That's when you're the prettiest. I hope that you don't take it wrong. But yeah, hello. So yeah, okay. So during that pregnancy, it was pretty normal, but at the same time, it wasn't because it was like I wasn't gaining weight and she wasn't gaining weight. And so let me back it up. So I have hyperemesis. Hyperemesis is basically something that comes when you're pregnant, and it's just like you're very dehydrated. You can't keep food down. You can't keep liquids down. And your body basically rejecting a pregnancy or whatever. You usually deliver healthy babies, but during the pregnancy, the mother is very depleted, very drained, very tired, and just not at her best health. So with every child, I had hyperemesis. When I was pregnant with Yanni, who was 18, I had hyperemesis. They didn't know that that's what it was at the time. And then 4 years later, when I got pregnant with Zamar, my 14-year-old, I had it again, and then they figured out what it was. So I took medicine the whole pregnancy in order to stay hydrated and be able to keep food down. Then 7 years later, I had Ziri, and it came again. I had bad hyperemesis throwing up the entire pregnancy. When you're supposed to be gaining weight, I was losing weight. So, boom, all these three babies healthy. Get pregnant with Rayleigh. What? They 3 years apart, 3, 4 years apart. Get pregnant with Rayleigh. I was very, very sick. Long story short, this lady came in my job. I was working at Target at the time. This lady came in here. I don't remember her name to this day, but it was this white lady. She came in here, asked me why I was looking like that and feeling like she just can felt. She said she felt my energy, and I was like, because I'm like really sick at the time. You couldn't tell I was pregnant because I was only like 5, 6 weeks. So it was just weird that she came up to me, but I was like, yeah, like I'm pregnant and I just don't feel good. Like I was kind of like slopped over the freaking cuz I was doing self checkout. So I was kind of like slumped over one of the machines. Like I shouldn't have been here. They should have sent my ass home, to be honest. Yeah, they should have sent my ass home, to be honest, but they did it anyway. So I'm looking horrible trying to work. So she's like, you know what? Have you prayed about it? I'm like, have I prayed about it? I'm like, I've been praying about it for 3, 4 babies now. This is the fourth baby. I've been praying about it. She like, well, let me pray. I'm like, I can't pray here with you. She like, let me pray. So we put our heads down. She prayed, whatever the fuck she did. Long story short, I was never sick again with Rayleigh. Rayleigh was my healthiest pregnancy. She's the only baby that I actually gained with that I actually like was outside, like getting dressed, like actually feeling alive, pregnant with. So boom, have Rayleigh. Rayleigh's healthy. Now, all my kids have been induced except Ziri, but I normally get induced at like 37 weeks because of certain little things, especially really because of the hyperemesis. I be drained. I can't make it to 40. So fast forward to getting pregnant with Larry, and she's growing, I'm growing, but she's just not growing like she should be growing. Like every appointment, she's like off. Her body is like smaller than it should be. And then everybody's like, well, that happens, they can be off, the measurements can be off. And I'm like, okay. I had this inkling feeling in the back of my head, like, don't yell at him. I had this feeling like in the back of my mind, like in a root of my heart, like I just wasn't gonna have her, because when I was pregnant with Rayleigh and I was working at Target, same with Larry, I would buy stuff every day. When I would get off, I would go buy socks, headbands, something. When I was pregnant with Larry, I literally could not force myself to buy nothing. Like I just could not, and I didn't know why. But that stopped, baby. That was a big sign for me afterward. Like, damn, you couldn't even buy her nothing. But anyway, I wasn't that sick with her, but I just didn't, I don't know, I just felt a little bit off. So, I got to 33 weeks, and that is when, I found out Larry did not have a heartbeat. But I had an appointment like a week before I even lost her, and everything was good. I think literally like the day after that appointment is when Lyric passed away. So Lyric was gone inside of me for like 3 days. I didn't feel my baby move for like 3 days. And I don't know to this day why I didn't force myself to go to the hospital. I feel like everybody that I was like telling, like family, everybody that I was telling, like, I feel like something is off, I feel like something is wrong, instead of people like saying, you know what, go in, everybody would be like, she's fine, you fine, like it's just this or it's just that. So I just kind of just felt like, just whatever. Like, so the third day, I remember being at work and I remember telling one of my managers, like, I haven't felt my baby move in like 3 days. And she was like, drink some water. I said, I did that. She said, ice. I said, I did that. I drank soda. I've literally consumed everything that would make her possibly move. And she hasn't moved. And she said, no, you're going to be okay. And then I got off work and I went home and I still didn't feel her move. Crazy thing is, one of my little cousins had a birthday party like 2 days before I actually found out she didn't make it. And I went to that party and I was dancing and stuff and I still didn't feel my baby move. And I just kept this smile on my face like nothing was happening when everything was going wrong within me and I knew it. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up having an ultrasound that was already scheduled and set. And so when I went to that ultrasound appointment, I'm walking in with the doctors and I'm telling them like I haven't felt my baby move in 3 days. I don't think she's here. And so they were like, no, she's probably just tight in there. May not be a lot of room, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, no, she's not moving. And then, so long story short, when they took me in to start to do the ultrasound, I instantly knew because nothing was flickering on the machine, like the heart, nothing was moving. It was just nothing. And she just looking, the lady that's doing my ultrasound, she's looking and she's just like quiet. I just felt the energy. And I was like, my baby's dead, ain't she? And she was like, I can't say that I can't confirm that. She was like, I'm gonna go get another doctor to come in. So she went and got another doctor to come in and they both did the same thing over and over again. Again, I'm looking at the screen. I've had 5 freaking kids before this. I know what it looked like when a baby is alive and healthy. They still ain't saying nothing. They like, we're gonna go get one more person to come look at. They bring a third person in. I'm like, my baby is dead. Like I'm telling them, I'm like, she's dead. Just say it. Like, and they finally looked over to me and said, yeah, we can't find a heartbeat. And of course, I broke down crying. I'm not even gonna get into all of that, but of course, I broke down crying. I was distraught. I had knew it, but just to hear those words was just crazy. I ended up calling my best friend, called my husband, and yeah, they told me I needed to go home and pack bags because I was gonna have to get induced to have her, and I didn't realize it because this is my first time ever losing a child, right? That you have to still have this baby. I'm like, well, shit, I am 8 months. Like, duh, I have to have the baby, but it didn't cross my mind that I had to go through labor, literally deliver her and all the shit just as if she was alive. So I went home. Shh, stop. So I went home, got myself together, packed my bags, went back to the hospital. Long story short, I delivered Lyric, and yeah, they didn't know what was wrong, but it was 3 umbilical cords wrapped around her neck. No, 2 umbilical cords wrapped around her neck and one wrapped around her ankle. So yeah, that was the craziest, obviously the craziest birth story I can ever tell. I actually think I told the birth story on my YouTube, but yeah, my baby had 2 cords around her neck and one around her ankle. So every time she would move her ankle, it would tighten. And they didn't understand like they checked other things to see if it was something wrong with me, like my blood or the cord or anything. And all they can figure out was that I had a long ass umbilical cord, which they said, well, that shouldn't have done that, but it was kind of weak, so maybe the baby wasn't getting the flow that it should have gotten or whatever. But like fast forward up to chosen birth. I'm already, as soon as I get pregnant with him, I already tell them like I'm getting induced at 37 weeks. I'm not going beyond that. I already know what I want to do. I told them my birth plan. They were with it. I had the best doctors when I was pregnant with Chosen. They knew my story, so anything that I requested or wanted it, they did for me. I got ultrasounds every single month, multiple, like lots of pictures. Look around my whole room. I got nothing but ultrasounds when I was pregnant with Chosen. So when the time came to where it was time for me to get induced with Chosen, his daddy was hella mad and didn't want me to. But remind you guys, Manir doesn't really understand or know what I went through in the past because he wasn't in my life then. So he's just thinking I just want to get induced and have a baby because I'm scared and da 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 da. So he trying to convince me not to have a baby. Guess what, y'all? If I wouldn't have followed my own mind and got induced, Chosen wouldn't have made it either because he had 3 umbilical cords wrapped around his neck. I was in labor for 3 days with Chosen. Like, listen to your body, listen to your first mind. Don't let these doctors, don't let these niggas, don't let nobody tell you what to do or how to do when it comes to your pregnancy because you could damn near lose your baby going off somebody else's vibe. Follow your intuition, y'all.